梁哥制作小学语文背诵篇，1年级下册，课文8《静夜思》，唐·李白。床前明月光，疑是地上霜。举头望明月，低头思故乡。
Produced by Lianggu, Primary School Chinese Recitation. The second volume of the first grade. Text 8, Quiet Night Thoughts. Tang Li Bai. There was bright moonlight in front of the bed, which was probably due to frost on the ground. Raise your head to look at the bright moon, lower your head to think about your hometown.
课文12古诗2首，池上，唐·白居易。小蛙撑小艇，偷采白莲回。不解藏踪迹，浮萍一道开。小池，宋·杨万里。泉眼无声惜细流。
Text 12, Two Ancient Poems. Qishang. Tang by Ji. The little boy held a small boat and secretly picked white lotus flowers. Without clearing up the hidden traces, the duckweeds bloomed together. Koike. Text 12, Two Ancient Poems. Qishang. Tang by Ji. The little boy held a small boat and secretly picked white lotus flowers. Without clearing up the hidden traces, the duckweeds bloomed together. Koike. Song Dynasty Yang Wanli. The spring flows silently and slowly.
树阴照水爱晴柔，小荷才露尖尖角，早有蜻蜓立上头。识字一，春夏秋冬。春风吹，夏雨落，秋霜降，冬雪飘。青草，红花，游鱼，飞鸟。
The shade of the tree shines on the water, and the love is clear and soft. The little lotus has just revealed its sharp corners, and a dragonfly has already stood on it. Literacy 1, Spring, Summer, Autumn and Winter. The spring breeze blows, the summer rain falls, the autumn frost falls, and the winter snow falls dash. The shade of the tree shines on the water, and the love is clear and soft. The little lotus has just revealed its sharp corners, and a dragonfly has already stood on it. Literacy 1, Spring, Summer, Autumn and Winter. The spring breeze blows, the summer rain falls, the autumn frost falls, and the winter snow falls dash. Green grass, red flowers, swimming fish, flying birds dash.
池草青，山花红，鱼出水，鸟入林。识字2，姓氏歌。你姓什么？我姓李。什么李？木子李。他姓什么？他姓张。什么张？弓长张。古月湖。
The grass in the pond is green, the mountain flowers are red, fish come out of the water, and birds enter the forest. Literacy 2, Surname Song. What's your last name? My surname is Li. The grass in the pond is green, the mountain flowers are red, fish come out of the water, and birds enter the forest. Literacy 2, Surname Song. What's your last name? My surname is Li. What Li? Mu Zi Li. What's his last name? His surname is Zhang. What picture? The bow stretched. Gu Yuehu.
口天吴，双人徐，言吴许。中国姓氏有很多，赵、钱、孙、李、周、吴、郑、王。诸葛、东方、上官、欧阳。识字6，古对今。古对今，原对方。
He spoke to Wu Tian, the two of them were Su, and said noon. There are many Chinese surnames. Zhao, Qian, Sun, Li, Zhou, Wu, Zheng, Wang. Zhuge, Dongfang, Shengguan, Ouyang. Literacy 6, the past versus the present. The past meets the present, a circle meets the other.
严寒对酷暑，春暖对秋凉。晨对暮，雪对霜。和风对细雨，朝霞对夕阳。桃对李，柳对杨。莺歌对燕舞，鸟语对花香。识字8，人之初。
Severe cold versus scorching heat, warm spring versus cool autumn. Morning versus dusk, snow versus frost. Gentle breeze versus drizzle, morning glow versus sunset. Peach versus plum, willow versus poplar. The song of orioles is to the dance of swallows, and the chirping of birds is to the fragrance of flowers. Literacy 8, the beginning of man.
人之初，性本善，性相近，习相远。苟不教，性乃迁，教之道，贵以专。子不学，非所宜；幼不学，老何为？玉不琢，不成器；人不学，不知义。
In the beginning, human beings are inherently good. Their natures are similar, but their habits are far apart. If you don't teach, your nature will change. The way to teach is to be specialized. If a child does not learn, it is not appropriate. If a child does not learn, what will the old do? If jade is not polished, it will not become a tool. If a person does not learn, he will not know righteousness.
课文13，荷叶圆圆。荷叶圆圆的，绿绿的。小水珠说：“荷叶是我的摇篮。”小水珠躺在荷叶上，眨着亮晶晶的眼睛。小蜻蜓说：“荷叶是我的停机坪。”小蜻蜓立在荷叶上，展开透明的翅膀。
Text 13, the lotus leaf is round. The lotus leaves are round and green. The little water drop said, the lotus leaf is my cradle. The little water drop lay on the lotus leaf and blinked his bright eyes. The little dragonfly said, the lotus leaf is my landing pad. Text 13, the lotus leaf is round. The lotus leaves are round and green.
小青蛙说：“荷叶是我的歌台。”小青蛙蹲在荷叶上，呱呱地放声歌唱。小鱼儿说：“荷叶是我的凉伞。”小鱼儿在荷叶下笑嘻嘻地游来游去，捧起一朵朵很美很美的水花。
The little frog said, the lotus leaf is my singing platform. The little frog squatted on the lotus leaf and sang loudly. The little fish said, the lotus leaf is my parasol. The little fish swam around under the lotus leaf with a smile, holding up beautiful water flowers.
语文园地1日积月累，春回大地，万物复苏，柳绿花红，莺歌燕舞，冰雪融化，泉水叮咚，百花齐放，百鸟争鸣。
Chinese Garden 1. Accumulation over time. Spring returns to the earth, all things revive, the willows are green and the flowers are red, the orioles are singing and the swallows are dancing. The ice and snow are melting, the springs are tinkling, 100 flowers are blooming, and 100 birds are chirping.
语文园地2日积月累，春晓，唐·孟浩然。春眠不觉晓，处处闻啼鸟。夜来风雨声，花落知多少。
Chinese Garden 2, Accumulation over time. Chun Xiao. Tang Meng Haoran. When I sleep in spring, I don't realize the dawn, and I can hear the singing of birds everywhere. This Chinese Garden 2, Accumulation over time. Chun Xiao. Tang Meng Haoran. When I sleep in spring, I don't realize the dawn, and I can hear the singing of birds everywhere. The sound of wind and rain at night makes one know how many flowers have fallen.
语文园地3日积月累，赠汪伦。唐·李白。李白乘舟将欲行，忽闻岸上踏歌声。桃花潭水深千尺，不及汪伦送我情。
Chinese Garden 3. Accumulation over time. As a gift to Wang Luan. Tang Li Bai. Li Bai was about to set off in a boat when he suddenly heard people singing on the shore. The water in Peach Blossom Pond is 1,000 feet deep, and it is not as deep as Wang Luan's love for me.
语文园地4日积月累，寻隐者不遇。唐·侠岛。松下问童子，言师采药去，只在此山中，云深不知处。
Chinese Garden 4. Overtime dash. Those who seek hermitage will not find. Tang Jia Dao. Chinese Garden 4. Overtime dash. Those who seek hermitage will not find. Tang Jia Dao. Matsushita asked the boy, saying that the teacher was going to collect medicine. Only in this mountain, I don't know where the clouds are.
语文园地5日积月累，小葱拌豆腐，一清，清200；竹篮子打水，一场空；芝麻开花，节节高；15个吊桶打水。
Chinese Garden 5. Overtime dash. Tofu mixed with shallots, 1 clear, green, and 2 white dash. Fetching water from a bamboo basket was in vain. The sesame seeds are blooming, getting higher and higher dash. 15 buckets to fetch water.
7上8下，语文园地6日积月累，朝霞不出门，晚霞行千里。有雨山戴帽，无雨半山腰。早晨下雨当日晴。
7 ups and 8 downs. Chinese Language Garden 6. Overtime dash. The morning glow does not leave the house, but the sunset travels thousands of miles. There is a rainy mountain wearing a hat, but there is no rain halfway up the mountain. It rained in the morning and was sunny on the same day.
晚上下雨到天明。蚂蚁搬家蛇过道，大雨不久要来到。语文园地7日积月累，敏而好学，不耻下问。论语。
It rained at night until dawn. Ants are moving snakes across the aisle, heavy rain is coming soon. Chinese Garden 7. Accumulation over time. He is sensitive and eager to learn, and he is not ashamed to ask questions. It rained at night until dawn. Ants are moving snakes across the aisle, heavy rain is coming soon. Chinese Garden 7. Accumulation over time. He is sensitive and eager to learn, and he is not ashamed to ask questions. The Analects of Confucius.
不知则问，不能则学。荀子。读书百遍，而义自见。董玉。读万卷书，行万里路。董其昌。语文园地8日积月累。
If you don't know, ask. If you don't know, learn. Xu Wenzi. Read it 100 times, and the righteousness will come to you. Dong Yu. Read thousands of books and travel thousands of miles. Dong Qichang. Chinese Garden 8. Overtime dash.
画界。明唐也。 头上红冠不用裁，满身雪白走将来。平生不敢轻言语，一叫千门万户开。2年级下册。课文1。
Draw a chicken. Mingtang Yin. There is no need to cut off the red crown on your head, and you will walk into the future covered in snow white. I dare not speak softly in my life, and thousands of doors will be opened at once. The second volume of the second grade. Text 1.
古诗2首。村居。清高鼎。草长莺飞2月天，拂堤杨柳醉春烟。儿童散学归来早，忙趁东风放纸鸢。咏柳。唐贺知章。
Two ancient poems. Village Home. Qing Dynasty Outing. The grass is long and the orioles are flying in the February sky, and the willows are blowing on the embankment and are drunk with the spring smoke. The children came back early from school and were busy taking advantage of the east wind to fly kites. Two ancient poems. Village Home. Qing Dynasty Outing. The grass is long and the orioles are flying in the February sky, and the willows are blowing on the embankment and are drunk with the spring smoke. The children came back early from school and were busy taking advantage of the east wind to fly kites. Yong Lu. Tenghe Zhizhang.
碧玉妆成一树高，万条垂下绿丝绦。不知细叶谁裁出？2月春风似剪刀。课文15。古诗2首。小厨净词四颂林子方。
The jasper is as high as a tree, and there are thousands of green silk ribbons hanging down. I don't know who cuts out the thin leaves. The spring breeze in February is like scissors. Text 15. Two ancient poems. I left Jingxi Temple at dawn to see Lin Zifang off.
宋杨万里。毕竟西湖6月中，风光不与40同。接天莲叶无穷碧，映日荷花别样红。绝句。唐杜甫。2个黄鹂鸣翠柳。
Song Yang Wanli. After all, the scenery of West Lake in June is different from that of the 4 seasons. The lotus leaves touching the sky are infinitely green, and the lotus flowers reflecting the sun are uniquely red. Quatrain. Tengdu Fu. Two orioles sing in the green willows.
一行白鹭上青天，窗含西岭千秋雪，门泊东吴万里船。识字2。传统节日。春节到，人欢笑，贴窗花，放鞭炮。元宵节。
A row of egrets ascends to the sky. The window contains the snow of Chinqiu in the Xiling Mountains, and the door is docked with ships thousands of miles away from Dongwu. Literacy 2. Traditional festivals. When the spring festival comes, people laugh, put up window grills, and set off firecrackers. Lantern Festival.
看花灯，大街小巷人如潮。清明节，雨纷纷，先人墓前去祭扫。过端午，赛龙舟，粽香艾香满堂飘。7月7，来乞巧。
Watching the lanterns, the streets and alleys are crowded with people. On the Qingming festival, it rained heavily, and I went to pay homage to my ancestors' tombs. After the Dragon Boat Festival, dragon boat races were held, and the aroma of rice dumplings and moxa filled the hall. July 7th, come to beg for luck.
牛郎织女会鹊桥。过中秋，吃月饼，15圆月当空照。重阳节要敬老，踏秋赏菊去登高。转眼又是新春到。
The cowherd and the weaver girl meet on the Magpie Bridge. During the Mid-Autumn Festival, we eat moon cakes and watch the 15th full moon shine in the sky. On the Double Ninth Festival, we should respect the elderly and climb high in the autumn to admire the chrysanthemums. In the blink of an eye, the new year is here again.
全家团圆真热闹。
The whole family reunion was so lively.
课文16。雷雨。满天的乌云黑沉沉地压下来，树上的叶子一动不动，蝉一声也不出。忽然一阵大风，吹得树枝乱摆。一只蜘蛛从网上垂下来，逃走了。闪电越来越亮。
Text 16. Thunderstorm. The sky was filled with dark clouds, pressing down heavily. The leaves on the trees were motionless, and the cicada was silent. Suddenly a strong wind blew the branches swaying wildly. A spider dangled from the web and escaped. The lightning is getting brighter and brighter.
雷声越来越响，哗哗哗，雨下起来了。雨越下越大，往窗外望去，树啊、房子啊都看不清了。渐渐的，雷声小了，雨声也小了。天亮起来了，打开窗户。
The thunder became louder and louder. Whoa, 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 it started to rain. The rain is getting heavier. Looking out the window, I can't see the trees or the house clearly. Gradually, the thunder became smaller and the rain became smaller. It's daybreak. Open the window.
清新的空气迎面扑来，雨停了，太阳出来了，一条彩虹挂在天空。蝉叫了，蜘蛛又坐在网上，池塘里水满了，青蛙也叫起来了。
The fresh air rushes towards you. The rain stopped. The sun is coming out. A rainbow hangs in the sky. The cicada chirped. The spider sat on the web again. The pond is full of water and the frogs are chirping.
赋得古原草送别节选，唐·白居易。离离原上草，一岁一枯荣。野火烧不尽，春风吹又生。语文园第2，日积月累。
Farewell to the ancient original grass, excerpt. Tang by G. The grass on the original plain grows brighter and wither every year. Wildfires never burn out, but spring breezes blow them again. Chinese Garden 2, accumulation over time.
与人玫瑰，手有余香。平时肯帮人，即使有人帮。与其锦上添花，不如雪中送炭。语文园第3，日积月累。此属丑由。
Give someone a rose, and the fragrance will linger in your hands. I am willing to help others in normal times, but there is someone who can help me in times of emergency. Rather than adding icing on the cake, it is better to provide help when it is timely. Chinese Garden 3. Accumulation over time. The little rat, the ugly cow.
寅虎、卯兔、辰龙、巳蛇、午马、未羊、申猴、酉鸡、戌狗、亥猪。语文园第4，日积月累。轻诺必寡信，老子失信不立。
Yin tiger, Mao rabbit, Chin dragon, sea snake. Wu horse, Wei sheep, Shen monkey, Yu rooster, Su dog, Hai pig. Chinese Garden 4. Overtime dash. A light promise will lead to a lack of faith. Lousy. A broken promise cannot be established.
作传，小信诚则不信力。韩非子。语文园第5，日积月累。冠必正，纽必结，袜与履，拘谨切。置冠服，有定位。
Zhuan. If little faith succeeds, no faith will stand. Han Fizi. Chinese Garden 5. Overtime dash. The crown must be straight, the buttons must be knotted, and the socks and shoes must be tight. Wearing crowns and clothes.
勿乱顿，致污秽。唯德学，为才艺，不如人，当自立。若衣服，若饮食，不如人，勿生戚。弟子规。语文园第6，日积月累。
Don't mess around, it will cause filth. Only study with virtue and talent. If you are not as good as others, you should train yourself. If the clothes and food are not as good as those of others, don't worry about them. Disciple rules. Chinese Language Garden 6. Overtime dash.
悯农其一。唐·李绅。春种一粒粟，秋收万颗子。四海无闲田，农夫犹饿死。语文园第7，日积月累。春雨惊春清谷天。
Compassion for Farmers, Part 1. Tang Dynasty Li Shen. Plant 1 grain of millet in spring and harvest 10,000 grains in autumn. There is no idle land all over the world, and farmers are still starving to death. Compassion for Farmers, Part 1. Tang Dynasty Li Shen. Plant 1 grain of millet in spring and harvest 10,000 grains in autumn. There is no idle land all over the world, and farmers are still starving to death. Chinese Garden 7. Accumulation over time. The spring rain shocks the clear spring sky.
夏满芒夏暑相连，秋处露秋寒霜降，冬雪雪冬小大寒。语文园第8，日积月累。昼夜书所见，清杂慎行。月黑见鱼灯。
Summer is full of ons and summer is hot. There is dew in autumn, cold frost in autumn, and snow in winter and slight severe cold in winter. Chinese Garden 8. Overtime dash. What I saw in Zhou Yishu. Qin, check with caution. When the moon is dark, you can see fishing lanterns.
孤光一点萤，微微风簇浪，散作满河星。3年级下册。课文1，古诗3首。绝句。唐·杜甫。迟日江山丽，春风花草香。
A little light of firefly. A slight breeze stirred up the waves, scattering stars all over the river. The second volume of the 3rd grade. Text 1, 3 ancient poems. Quatrain. Tang Du Fu. The rivers and mountains are beautiful and cheery, and the spring breeze is fragrant with flowers and grass.
泥融飞燕子，沙暖睡鸳鸯。惠崇春江晚景。宋·苏轼。竹外桃花三两枝，春江水暖鸭先知。蒌蒿满地芦芽短。
The mud melts and swallows fly, and the sand is warm and mandarin ducks sleep. Huichong Chunjiang Evening Scene. Song Dynasty Su Shi. There are 2 or 3 branches of peach blossoms outside the bamboo, which are prophets of the warmth of the spring river. The ground is covered with wormwood and short reed buds.
正是河豚欲上时，三衢道中。宋·曾几。梅子黄时日晴，小溪泛近却山行。 绿阴不减来时路，天得黄鹂四五声。课文9。
It's the time when the puffer fish wants to come. In the middle of Sanku Road. Song Dynasty once upon a time. The plum blossoms are yellow, the sun is clear, the creek is overflowing, and the mountains are flowing. The green shade does not slow down the journey, and the 4 or 5 oriole calls are added. Text 9.
古诗3首。元日，宋王安石。爆竹声中一岁除，春风送暖入屠苏。千门万户曈曈日，总把新桃换旧符。清明，唐·杜牧。
3 ancient poems. Yuan Day. Song Dynasty Wang Engshi. The sound of firecrackers marks the end of the year, and the spring breeze brings warmth to Tusu. Thousands of households always replace old talismans with new peaches. Qingming. Tang Dynasty Du Mu.
清明时节雨纷纷，路上行人欲断魂。借问酒家何处有？牧童遥指杏花村。9月9日忆山东兄弟。唐·王维。
It rains heavily during the Qingming festival, and pedestrians on the road feel like they are dying. May I ask where the restaurant is? The shepherd boy points to Xinghua village in the distance. Remembering Shandong brothers on September 9th. Tang Wang Wei.
独在异乡为异客，每逢佳节倍思亲。遥知兄弟登高处，便差茱萸少一人。
Being a stranger in a foreign land, I miss my family even more during the festive season. I know from afar that when my brothers climbed to a high place, there was only one less person planting dogwood trees.
课文2，燕子。第1至3自然段。一身乌黑的羽毛，一对轻快有力的翅膀，加上剪刀式的尾巴，凑成了那样可爱的活泼的小燕子。2、3月的春日里，清风微微地吹拂着。
Text 2, Swallow. Natural paragraphs 1 to 3. A body of jet black feathers, a pair of brisk and powerful wings, and a scissor-like tail make up such a cute and lively little swallow. In the spring days of February and March, the breeze blew gently.
如毛的细雨由天上洒落着，千条万条的柔柳，红的、白的、黄的花，青的草，绿的叶，都像赶集似的聚拢来，形成了烂漫无比的春天。这时候，那些小燕子，那么伶俐可爱的小燕子。
The drizzle is falling from the sky, and thousands of soft willows, red, white, and yellow flowers, green grass, and green leaves are all gathered together like a market, forming a brilliant spring. At this time, those little swallows were so smart and cute.
也由南方飞来，加入这光彩夺目的图画中，为春光平添了许多生趣。小燕子带了它的剪刀式的尾巴，在阳光满地时，斜飞于旷亮无比的天空，叽的一声，已由这里的稻田上。
They also flew from the south to join this dazzling picture, adding a lot of life to the spring scenery. The little swallow, with its scissor-like tail, flew sideways in the bright sky when the sun was shining all over the ground. With a chirping sound, they also flew from the south to join this dazzling picture, adding a lot of life to the spring scenery. The little swallow, with its scissor-like tail, flew sideways in the bright sky when the sun was shining all over the ground. With a chirping sound, it had already landed on the rice fields here.
飞到那边的高柳下了。 课文3，荷花。第2至4自然段。荷花已经开了不少了，荷叶挨挨挤挤的，像一个个碧绿的大圆盘。白荷花在这些大圆盘之间冒出来。
The tall willow that flew over there fell. Text 3, Lotus. Natural paragraph 2 to 4. Lotus flowers have bloomed a lot. The lotus leaves are crowded together, like big green discs. White lotus flowers pop up between these large discs.
有的才展开2、3片花瓣。 有的花瓣全展开了，露出嫩黄色的小莲蓬；有的还是花骨朵，看起来饱胀的马上要破裂似的。这么多的白荷花，一朵有一朵的姿势。
Some only unfold 2 or 3 petals. Some petals are fully unfolded, revealing small yellow lotus pods. Some are still flower bones, which look so full that they are about to burst. There are so many white lotus flowers, one after another.
看看这一朵很美，看看那一朵也很美。 如果把眼前的一池荷花看作一大幅活的画，那画家的本领可真了不起。我忽然觉得自己仿佛就是一朵荷花，穿着雪白的衣裳。
Look at this one, it's beautiful. Look at that one, it's also beautiful. If the pond of lotus in front of you is regarded as a large living painting, then the painter's ability is really amazing. I suddenly felt like I was a lotus flower, wearing snow-white clothes.
站在阳光里，一阵微风吹过来，我就翩翩起舞，雪白的衣裳随风飘动。 不光是我一朵，一池的荷花都在舞蹈。风过了，我停止了舞蹈，静静地站在那儿。蜻蜓飞过来。
Stand in the sunshine. A breeze blew over, and I danced gracefully, my snow-white clothes fluttering in the wind. Not just me, but all the lotuses in the pond are dancing. The wind passed and I stopped dancing and stood there quietly. The dragonfly flew over.
告诉我清早飞行的快乐。小鱼在脚下游过，告诉我昨夜做的好梦。课文5：守株待兔。宋人有耕者，田中有猪，兔走出猪，折颈而死。因视其累而守株，既复得兔，兔不可复得。
Tell me about the joy of flying early in the morning. The little fish swam under my feet and told me about the good dream I had last night. Text 5: Wait and see. Song people had cultivators. There is a plant in the field. The rabbit walked and hit the plant, broke its neck and died. Because he released his weeds and guarded the plant, he hoped to get the rabbit again. Rabbits cannot be denied.
而身为宋国校。课文13：花中。第一自然段。鲜花朵朵，争奇斗艳，芬芳迷人。要是我们留心观察，就会发现一天之内不同的花开放的时间是不同的。凌晨4点。
And as song guashao. Text 13: Flower clock. Natural paragraph 1. The flowers are blooming, colorful and fragrant. If we observe carefully, we will find that different flowers bloom at different times within a day. 4 o'clock in the morning.
牵牛花吹起了紫色的小喇叭。5点左右，艳丽的蔷薇绽开了笑脸。7点，睡莲从梦中醒来。中午12点左右，50花开花了。下午3点，万寿菊欣然怒放。下午5点。
The morning glory blew its purple trumpet. At around 5 o'clock, the gorgeous roses bloomed with smiles. At 7 o'clock, the water lilies woke up from their dreams. At around 12 o'clock at noon, the noon flowers bloomed. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the marigolds happily in full bloom. 5 p.m.
紫茉莉苏醒过来，月光花在7点左右舒展开自己的花瓣，夜来香在晚上8点开花，昙花却在9点左右含笑一现。课文18：童年的水墨画。西边。
Purple jasmine wakes up, moonflower unfolds its petals around 7 o'clock, tuberose blooms at 8 o'clock in the evening, epiphyllum appears with a smile around 9 o'clock. Text 18: Ink painting of childhood. By the stream.
垂柳把溪水当作梳妆的镜子，山溪像绿玉带一样平静。人影给溪水染绿了，钓竿上立着一只红蜻蜓。忽然扑腾一声，人影碎了。草地上蹦跳着鱼儿和笑声。
The weeping willows use the stream as a dressing mirror. The mountain stream is as calm as a green jade belt. The figure dyed the stream green. There is a red dragonfly standing on the fishing rod. Suddenly there was a thump and the figure shattered. There were fish and laughter jumping on the grass.
课文24：火烧云。第3-6自然段。这地方的火烧云变化极多，一会儿红彤彤的，一会儿金灿灿的，一会儿半紫半黄，一会儿半灰半百合色。葡萄灰、梨黄、茄子紫。
Text 24: Hoshayan. Natural paragraph 3-6. The fire clouds in this place change a lot. Sometimes they are red, sometimes they are golden, sometimes they are half purple and half yellow, and sometimes they are half gray and half lily. Grape. Text 24: Hoshayan. Natural paragraph 3-6. The fire clouds in this place change a lot. Sometimes they are red, sometimes they are golden, sometimes they are half purple and half yellow, and sometimes they are half gray and half lily. Grape gray, pear yellow, eggplant purple.
这些颜色天空都有，还有些说也说不出来，见也没见过的颜色。一会儿，天空出现一匹马，马头向南，马尾向西。马是跪着的，像等人骑上它的背，它才站起来似的。
There are these colors in the sky. There are also colors that cannot be described or seen. After a while, a horse appeared in the sky, with its head facing south and its tail facing west. There are these colors in the sky. There are also colors that cannot be described or seen. After a while, a horse appeared in the sky, with its head facing south and its tail facing west. The horse is kneeling, as if it is waiting for someone to ride on its back before it stands up.
过了2-3秒钟，那匹马大起来了，腿伸开了，脖子也长了，尾巴却不见了。看的人正在寻找马尾巴，那匹马便模糊了。忽然又来了一条大狗，那条狗十分凶猛，在向前跑。
After 2 or 3 seconds, the horse grew bigger, its legs stretched out, its neck grew longer, but its tail disappeared. The viewer is looking for the horse's tail, and the horse becomes blurry. Suddenly another big dog came. The dog was very fierce and was running forward.
后边似乎还跟着好几条小狗，跑着跑着，小狗不知哪里去了，大狗也不见了。接着又来了一头大狮子，跟庙门前的石头狮子一模一样，也那么大，也那样蹲着。
There seemed to be several puppies following behind. As I ran, the puppy disappeared without knowing where it was, and the big dog disappeared too. Then another big lion came, which was exactly the same as the stone lion in front of the temple. It was also as big and squatting like that.
很威武、很镇静地蹲着，可是一转眼就变了，再也找不着了。
Squatting very powerfully and calmly. But it changed in the blink of an eye, and could no longer be found.
忆江南，唐·白居易。江南好，风景旧曾谙。日出江花红胜火，春来江水绿如蓝。能不忆江南？语文园第2，日积月累。
Recalling Jiangnan. Tang by Ji. Jiangnan is good, and the scenery is familiar to me. When the sun rises, the flowers on the river are as red as fire, and when spring comes, the water on the river is as green as blue. Can you not remember Jiangnan? Chinese Garden 2, Accumulation over time.
邯郸学步，滥竽充数，掩耳盗铃。自相矛盾，刻舟求剑，画蛇添足。杞人忧天，井底之蛙，杯弓蛇影。
Han Dan is learning to walk, playing the U to make up for the numbers, hiding his ears and stealing the bell. Contradicting oneself, carving a boat to seek a sword, adding another layer to a snake's head dash. Unfounded worries are like a frog at the bottom of a well and a snake's shadow in a cup.
语文园第3，日积月累。文房四宝，笔墨纸砚。雅人四好，琴棋书画。花中君子，梅兰竹菊。中医四诊，望闻问切。
Chinese Garden 3. Accumulation over time. The 4 treasures of the study: pen, ink, paper, and inkstone. The 4 good things of an elegant person: playing music, chess, calligraphy, and painting. The gentleman among the flowers: plum, orchid, bamboo, and chrysanthemum. The 4 diagnostic methods of traditional Chinese medicine: looking, smelling, asking, and feeling dash.
语文园第4，日积月累。滁州西涧，唐·韦应物。独怜幽草涧边生，上有黄鹂深树鸣。春潮带雨晚来急。
Chinese Garden 4. Overtime dash. Chuzhou Shijin. Tang Dynasty Wei Yinggu. The lonely grass grows beside the stream, and there are orioles singing in the deep trees. The spring tide brings rain that comes late.
野渡无人舟自横。语文园第6，日积月累。见善则迁，有过则改。周易，过而不改，是谓过矣。论语，人谁无过？
There is no boat in Yedu. Chinese Language Garden 6. Overtime dash. If you see something good, move on. If you see something wrong, change it. Book of Changes. To make mistakes without correcting them is to make mistakes. The Analects of Confucius. Who has no fault?
过而能改，善莫大焉。作传，改过不吝，从善如流。苏轼。语文园第7，日积月累。兵来将挡，水来土掩。不入虎穴。
If you can change your past, there is no greater good. Zhuozhuan. Don't hesitate to correct your mistakes and follow the good path. Su Shi. Chinese Garden 7. Accumulation over time. Soldiers will come to block it, water will come and earth will cover it. Don't enter the tiger's den.
焉得虎子？眼见为实，耳听为虚。近朱者赤，近墨者黑。语文园第8，日积月累。大林寺桃花。唐·白居易。
How can you get tiger cubs? Seeing is believing, hearing is believing. Those who are close to vermilion are red, those who are close to ink are black. Chinese Garden 8. Overtime dash. Dalan Temple Peach Blossom. Tang by Ji.
人间4月芳菲尽，山寺桃花始盛开。长恨春归无觅处，不知转入此中来。4年级下册。课文1，古诗词3首。
The beauty of April in the world is gone, and the peach blossoms in the mountain temple are beginning to bloom. Everlasting regret has no place to return to in spring, and I don't know where to turn. The second volume of the 4th grade. Text 1, 3 Ancient Poems.
40田园杂兴其25。宋·范成大。梅子金黄杏子肥，麦花雪白菜花稀。日长篱落无人过，唯有蜻蜓蛱蝶飞。
Pastoral Excitement at 4 Seasons, Part 25. Song Dynasty Fan Qingda. The plums are golden, the apricots are fat, the wheat flowers are white and the cauliflowers are sparse. No one passes through the fence during the long day, only dragonflies and butterflies fly.
宿新市徐公店。宋·杨万里。篱落疏疏一径深，树头新绿未成阴。儿童急走追黄蝶，飞入菜花无处寻。清平乐，村居。宋。
Shugong Store, Sushin City. Song Dynasty Yang Wanli. The fence is sparsely 1 foot deep, and the new green on the treetops has not yet become shade. The children hurriedly chased the yellow butterfly, which flew into the cauliflower and was nowhere to be found. Kingpingol Village. Song Dynasty.
辛弃疾。茅檐低小，溪上青青草。醉里吴音相媚好，白发谁家翁媪。 大而锄斗西东，中而正之鸡笼，最喜小而王赖。
xin chiji. The eaves are low and the grass is green on the stream. When drunk, Wu Yin is very charming, but who is the old lady with gray hair? The eldest son is hoeing beans to the east of the stream, while the middle son is weaving a chicken coop. I love the death of my children the most.
溪头卧包莲蓬，
Lying at the head of the stream peeling lotus pods.
课文9，短诗3首。繁星7·1，这些事是永不漫灭的回忆。月明的园中，藤蔓的叶下，母亲的膝上。繁星131，大海啊，哪一颗星没有光？哪一朵花没有香？
Text 9, 3 short poems. Stars, July 1st. These things are memories that will never fade away, dash. In the moonlit garden, under the leaves of the vines, on my mother's lap. Stars, 1, 3, 1. The sea. Which star has no light? Which flower is not fragrant?
哪一次我的思潮里没有你波涛的清响？繁星159，母亲啊，天上的风雨来了，鸟躲到它的巢里，心中的风雨来了，我只躲到你的怀里。课文10，绿。
Is there ever a time when the clear sound of your waves is not in my thoughts? Stars, 159. Mother. The wind and rain from the sky are coming. The bird takes refuge in its nest. The storm in my heart is coming. I just hide in your arms. Text 10, green.
好像绿色的墨水瓶倒翻了，到处是绿的。到哪儿去找这么多的绿？墨绿、浅绿、嫩绿、翠绿、淡绿、粉绿，绿的发黑，绿的出奇。刮的风是绿的，下的雨是绿的，流的水是绿的。
It's like the green ink bottle was overturned, and there was green everywhere. Where can I find so much green, dark green, light green, emerald green, light green, pink green? It's so black and so green. The wind that blows is green, the rain that falls is green, and the water that flows is green.
阳光也是绿的，所有的绿集中起来，挤在一起，重叠在一起，静静地交叉在一起。突然一阵风，好像舞蹈教练在指挥，所有的绿就整齐地按着节拍飘动在一起。
The sun is also green. All the greens are gathered together, squeezed together, overlapped, and intertwined quietly. Suddenly there was a gust of wind, as if a dance instructor was directing, and all the green colors floated together neatly according to the beat.
课文21，古诗3首。芙蓉楼送辛渐，唐·王昌龄。寒雨连江夜入吴，平明送客楚山孤。洛阳亲友如相问，一片冰心在玉壶。
Text 21, 3 ancient poems. Farewell to Xingjian at Furong Tower. Tang Dynasty Wang Chongling. Entering Wu in the cold rainy night, I see off my guests in Chu Shanggu in the morning. Relatives and friends in Luoyang ask each other like a piece of ice in a jade pot.
塞下曲，唐·卢纶。月黑雁飞高，单于夜遁逃。欲将轻骑逐，大雪满弓刀。墨梅，元王冕。我家洗燕池头树。
Put the next song. Tang Luluan. The wild geese fly high in the dark moon, and the Chanyu escapes in the night. When I want to chase Qingqi away, heavy snow covers my bow and sword. Mo Mei. Yuan Wang Mian. The tree at the head of the pond where I wash my inkstones.
朵朵花开淡墨痕，不要人夸好颜色，只留清气满乾坤。课文22，文言文2则。囊影夜读，因公勤不倦，博学多通。
Flowers bloom with faint ink marks. Don't let anyone praise you for the good color, just leave the pure air to fill the universe. Text 22, 2 classical Chinese articles. Now Ing reads at night. Yin Gong is diligent and knowledgeable.
家贫不常得油，下月则炼囊成数十萤火以照书，以夜继日焉。语文园第1，日积月累。卜算子，咏梅。毛泽东。
The family was poor and did not often have oil, so Xia Yu would hold dozens of fireflies in a bag to illuminate the book, day and night. Chinese Garden 1. Accumulation over time. Bu Swansea Yongmei. Mao Zedong.
风雨送春归，飞雪迎春到。疑是悬崖百丈冰，犹有花枝俏。俏也不争春，只把春来报。待到山花烂漫时，他在丛中笑。
Wind and rain send spring home, and flying snow welcomes spring. There are already hundreds of feet of ice on the cliff, but there are still beautiful flowers and branches. Qiao doesn't fight for spring, she only reports that spring has come. When the mountain flowers were in full bloom, she smiled among the bushes.
语文园第2，日积月累。江畔独步寻花。唐·杜甫。黄石塔前江水东，春光懒困倚微风。桃花一簇开无主。
Chinese Garden 2, Accumulation over Time. Walking alone by the river looking for flowers. Tengdu Fu. In front of the Huangshe Pagoda, the river is east, and the spring light is lazy and relying on the breeze. A cluster of peach blossoms blooms without an owner.
可爱深红爱浅红。语文园第3，日积月累。诗和音乐一样，生命全在节奏。烛光前，诗是人类向未来寄发的信息。
Cute crimson love light red. Chinese Garden 3. Accumulation over time. Poetry, like music, is all about rhythm. Zhu Guangqian. Poetry is a message sent by mankind to the future.
诗给人类以朝向理想的勇气。爱情，诗是强烈感情的自然流露，它源于宁静中回忆起来的情感。英国华兹华斯。
Poetry gives human beings the courage to move towards their ideals. A.I. Chin. Poetry is the spontaneous outpouring of strong feelings, arising from emotions recalled in tranquility. British, Wordsworth.
语文园第4，日积月累。哼，唐罗隐。不论平地与山间，无限风光尽备战。采得百花成蜜后，为谁辛苦为谁甜。
Chinese Garden 4. Overtime dash. B. Tang Dynasty Luo Yin. Regardless of the flat land or the top of the mountain, the infinite scenery is occupied. After harvesting the flowers and turning them into honey, for whom is it hard work and for whom is it sweet?
语文园第6，日积月累。独坐敬亭山。唐李白。众鸟高飞尽，孤云独去闲。相看两不厌，只有敬亭山。
Chinese Language Garden 6. Overtime dash. Sitting alone on Jingting Mountain. Tang Li Bai. All the birds are flying high, and the lonely cloud is alone. I never get tired of seeing each other, only Jingting Mountain.
语文园第7，日积月累。天行健，君子以自强不息。周易。胜人者有力，自胜者强。老子。不怨天，不尤人。
Chinese Garden 7. Accumulation over time. Heaven is in good health, and a gentleman strives to constantly strive for self-improvement. Book of Changes. He who conquers others is powerful, and he who conquers himself is strong. Laozi. Don't blame God, don't blame others.
论语。生于忧患而死于安乐。孟子。语文园第8，日积月累。少年不知勤学苦，老来方知读书迟。
The Analects of Confucius. Born in sorrow and died in happiness. Mencius. Chinese Garden 8. Overtime dash. Young people don't know how to study hard, but when they get older, they realize that it is too late to study.
一日读书一日功，一日不读十日空。学习不怕根底浅，只要迈步总不迟。书山有路勤为径，学海无涯苦作舟。
A day of reading is a day of success, a day of not reading is a day of nothingness. Don't be afraid of a shallow foundation in learning, as long as you take the first step, it's never too late. There are roads in the mountain of books, and diligence is the path, and there is no limit to the sea of learning, and hard work is the boat.
5年级下册。课文1，古诗3首。四时田园杂兴其31。宋范成大。昼出耘田夜绩麻，村庄儿女各当家。
Volume 2 of 5th grade. Text 1, 3 Ancient Poems. Pastoral Miscellany in 4 Seasons, Part 31. Song Dynasty Fan Qingda. The fields are tilled in the day and hemp is harvested at night. The children of the village are each responsible for their own affairs.
童孙为解供耕织，也傍桑阴学种瓜。稚子弄冰。宋杨万里。稚子金盆脱小冰，彩丝穿曲当银铮。敲成玉磬穿林响。
The children and grandchildren are still working for farming and weaving, and they are also learning to grow melons near the mulberry tree. A child making ice. Song Dynasty Yang Wanli. The child's golden basin sheds the ice, and the colored silk threads are used as silver rings. The sound of a jade chime echoed through the forest.
忽作玻璃碎地声。村晚。宋雷震。草满池塘水满皮，山闲落日尽寒衣。牧童归去横牛背，短笛无腔信口吹。课文9。
Suddenly there was a sound of breaking glass. Village evening. Song Dynasty Lei Zhen. The pond is full of grass and water is full of water, and the setting sun on the mountain is soaked in cold ripples. The shepherd boy returns and crosses the cow's back, playing the piccolo without any tune. Text 9.
古诗3首。从军行。唐王昌龄。青海长云暗雪山，孤城遥望玉门关。黄沙百战穿金甲，不破楼兰终不还。
3 Ancient Poems. Joining the army. Tang Dynasty Wang Changling. Qinghai is covered by long clouds and covered with snow-capped mountains, and the isolated city looks at Yumen Pass in the distance. Yellow sand can wear golden armor in 100 battles, and Lulon will never be returned until it is broken.
秋夜将晓出篱门迎凉有感。宋·陆游。3万里河东入海，5000仞岳上摩天。遗民泪尽胡尘里，难忘王师又一年。
When the autumn night is about to dawn, I step out of the fence gate to welcome the coolness, I feel it. Song Dynasty Lu Yu. 30,000 miles of river flows eastward into the sea, and 5,000 miles of mountains reach the sky. The remaining people shed tears in the dust and looked south to see Wang Shi for another year.
文官军收河南河北。唐·杜甫。见外乎传收蓟北，初闻涕泪满衣裳。却看妻子愁何在，漫卷诗书喜欲狂。
When Guanjuan took over Hunan and Hebei. Tang Du Fu. Suddenly there was a message outside the sword that Jibei was being collected. When Guanjuan took over Hunan and Hebei. Tang Du Fu. Suddenly there was a message outside the sword that Jibei was being collected. When I heard it for the first time, my clothes were filled with tears. But seeing where his wife is worried, she writes poems and books filled with joy and joy.
白日放歌须纵酒，青春作伴好还乡。即从巴峡穿巫峡，便下襄阳向洛阳。课文15，自相矛盾。楚人有欲断羽毛者。
To sing during the day, you need to indulge in alcohol. Youth is a good companion for returning home. That is to say, it passes through Wu Gorge from Ba Gorge and then goes down to Xiangyang towards Luoyang. Text 15, Self-contradiction. The people of Chu had shields and spears.
欲之曰：吾盾之坚，物莫能陷也。又欲其矛曰：无矛之力，于物无不陷也。或曰：以子之矛陷子之盾，何如？其人弗能应也。
He praised it and said, My shield is so strong that nothing can trap it. He also praised his spear and said, My spear is so sharp that it can trap everything. Or he said, How can I use my spear to trap my shield? This person can't respond.
夫不可陷之盾与无不陷之矛，不可同世而立。课文21，杨氏之子。梁国杨氏子9岁，甚聪慧。恐君平易其父，父不在。
A shield that cannot be trapped and a spear that cannot be trapped cannot exist in the same world. Text 21, Yang's son. The son of the Yang family in Liang was 9 years old and very intelligent. Kong Junping visited his father, but his father was not there.
乃呼而出，谓社果，国有杨梅。孔直以是而曰：此事君家国。而应声答曰：未闻孔雀是父子家禽。语文园第1，日积月累。
Then call your son out. To set the fruit has bayberry. The whole pointed to his son and said, This is the fruit of your family. The son replied, I have never heard that peacocks are the birds of father and son. Chinese Garden 1. Then call your son out. To set the fruit has bayberry. The whole pointed to his son and said, This is the fruit of your family. The son replied, I have never heard that peacocks are the birds of father and son. Chinese Garden 1. Accumulation over time.
有子吟。唐·孟郊。慈母手中线，游子身上衣。临行密密缝，意恐迟迟归。谁言寸草心，报得三春晖。
The wanderer chants. Tengmengjiao. The thread in a loving mother's hand, the clothes on a wanderer's body. Before leaving, I was afraid of returning late. Whoever speaks of an inch of grass will be rewarded with 3 rays of spring light.
语文园第2，日积月累。鸟鸣涧。唐·王维。人闲桂花落，夜静春山空。月出惊山鸟，时鸣春涧中。
Chinese Garden 2, Accumulation over time. Birdsong stream. Tang Wang Wei. The sweet-scented osmanthus falls when people are idle, and the spring mountain sky is quiet at night. The moonrise scares the mountain birds, and they sing in the spring stream.
语文园第4，日积月累。凉州词。唐·王之涣。黄河远上白云间，一片孤城万仞山。羌笛何须怨杨柳，春风不度玉门关。
Chinese Garden 4. Overtime dash. Liangzhou Ci. Tang Dynasty Wang Zhihuan. Far up the Yellow River among the white clouds, there is an isolated city called Wanren Mountain. Why should the Chang flute blame the willows? The spring breeze does not pass through Yumen Pass.
黄鹤楼送孟浩然之广陵。唐·李白。故人西辞黄鹤楼，烟花3月下扬州。孤帆远影碧空尽，唯见长江天际流。
Yellow Crane Tower sends Meng Haoran to Guangling. Tang Li Bai. The old friend left the Yellow Crane Tower in the west, and the fireworks descended from Yangzhou in March. The shadow of the lone sail in the distance is gone in the blue sky, and only the Yangtze River can be seen flowing in the sky.
语文园第6，日积月累。豆蔻年华， 指女子13、14岁的年纪。及笄指女子年满15岁。弱冠
Chinese language garden 6. Overtime dash. Cardamom years refers to a woman's age of 13 or 14. Gigi refers to a woman who is over 15 years old. Weak crown.
指男子20岁左右的年纪。而立指人30岁。不惑指人40岁。花甲指人60岁。古稀指人70岁。期夷
refers to the age of a man around 20 years old. Early refers to a person who is 30 years old. Buhua refers to a person who is 40 years old. 60 years old refers to a person who is 60 years old. Gushi refers to a person who is 70 years old. Qi
指人100岁。语文园地7日积月累。乡村4月。宋登卷。绿遍山原白满川，子规声俚语如烟。乡村4月闲人少。
refers to a person who is 100 years old. Chinese garden 7. Accumulation over time. April in the countryside. Song dynasty Wenzhuan. The mountains are green and the rivers are white, and the rain is like smoke amid the sound of the rules. There are few idle people in the countryside in April.
材料蚕桑又插田。语文园地8日积月累。君子喻于义，小人喻于利。论语。君子坦荡荡，小人长戚戚。论语。
Just sericulture and planting fields. Chinese garden 8. Overtime dash. A gentleman is likened to righteousness, and a villain is likened to benefit. The Analects of Confucius. A gentleman is magnanimous, while a villain is always concerned. The Analects of Confucius.
恻隐之心，人之端也。孟子。多行不义必自毙。作传。人有耻，则能有所不为。诸子语类。6年级下册。
Compassion is the essence of benevolence. Mencius. If you do too much injustice, you will surely die. Zhuazhuan. If people have shame, they can do something. Zhu Ziyulei. The second volume of 6th grade.
课文3古诗3首。寒食。唐韩翃。春城无处不飞花，寒食东风御柳斜。日暮汉宫传蜡烛，轻烟散入武侯家。
Text 3. 3 ancient poems. Cold food. Tang Dynasty Han Hong. There are flying flowers everywhere in the spring city, and the east wind keeps the willow trees from falling. At dusk, candles were passed around the Han Palace, and light smoke dispersed into the house of the 5 marquises.
迢迢牵牛星。迢迢牵牛星，皎皎河汉女。纤纤擢素手，札札弄机杼。终日不成章，泣涕零如雨。河汉清且浅。
Far Altair. The distant Altair, the bright river, the Han girl. The slender hands are used to make tricks. I can't make up my mind all day long, and my tears are like rain. The river is clear and shallow.
相去复几许。盈盈一水间，脉脉不得语。15夜望月。唐王建。中庭地白树栖鸦，冷露无声湿桂花。今夜月明人尽望。
How much has changed? There is a room full of water, and the pulse is speechless. Looking at the moon on the 15th night. Tang Wangjian. Crows roost in the white trees in the atrium, and the cold dew wets the sweet-scented osmanthus silently. Tonight the moon is bright and everyone can see.
不知秋思落谁家。课文10古诗3首。马氏。唐李贺。大漠沙如雪，燕山月似钩。何当金络脑，快走踏清秋。石灰饮。明。
I wonder whose family Chiu Siluo belongs to. Text 10. 3 ancient poems. Ma Shi. Tang Li He. The sand in the desert is like snow, and the moon in Yanshan Mountain is like a hook. Why should I be golden and have a strong brain? Walk quickly to enjoy the clear autumn. Lime chant. Bright.
于谦。千锤万凿出深山，烈火焚烧若等闲。粉骨碎身魂不怕，要留清白在人间。朱石。青正燮。咬定青山不放松。
Yu Qian. Thousands of hammers were used to carve out the deep mountains, and the fire burned them as if nothing happened. Don't be afraid of your bones being shattered into pieces, you want to leave your innocence in this world. Bamboo stone. Qing Dynasty Jingxia. Stay firm on the green hills and never relax.
立根源在破岩中。千磨万击还坚劲，任尔东西南北风。
The roots were originally in the broken rock. It has been strong despite countless hardships, regardless of the winds from east to west, north and south.
课文8匆匆。燕子去了，有在来的时候；杨柳枯了，有在青的时候；桃花谢了，有在开的时候。但是聪明的，你告诉我， 我们的日子为什么一去不复返呢？是有人偷了它们吧？
Text 8, in a hurry. The swallows have gone, but they will come again. The willows have withered, but they will be green again. The peach blossoms have withered, but they will bloom again. But tell me, wise one, why are our days gone forever? Someone must have stolen them.
那是谁？又藏在何处呢？是他们自己逃走了吧？现在又到了哪里呢？我不知道他们给了我们多少日子，但我的手却乎是渐渐空虚了，在默默里算着。
Who is that? Where is it hidden? They must have escaped on their own. Where are they now? I don't know how many days they gave us, but my hands are getting empty. Counting in silence.
8000多日子已经从我手中溜去，像针尖上一滴水滴在大海里。我的日子滴在时间的流里，没有声音，也没有影子。我不禁头涔涔而泪潸潸了。去的尽管去了，来的尽管来着。
8,000 days have slipped away from my hands, like drops of water on a needle's tip dripping into the ocean. My days were dripping into the flow of time, without sound or shadow. I couldn't help but feel dizzy and burst into tears. Whatever has gone, let it go, and whatever has come, let it come.
去来的中间又怎样的匆匆呢？早上我起来的时候，小屋里射进两三方斜斜的太阳。太阳它有脚啊，轻轻悄悄地挪移了，我也茫茫然跟着旋转。于是洗手的时候
How hurried is it between going and coming? When I got up in the morning, 2 or 3 slanting sunbeams came into the hut. The sun has legs. It moves away gently and quietly, and I follow it in a daze. How hurried is it between going and coming? When I got up in the morning, 2 or 3 slanting sunbeams came into the hut. The sun has legs. It moves away gently and quietly, and I follow it in a daze. So, when washing hands.
日子从水盆里过去，吃饭的时候，日子从饭碗里过去，默默时便从凝然的双眼前过去。我觉察他去得匆匆了，伸出手遮挽时，他又从遮挽的手边过去。天黑时，我躺在床上。
The days pass by the basin. When we eat, the days pass by the rice bowl. When we are silent, the days pass by the daydreaming eyes. I feel that he has gone away so hurriedly, so when I reach out my hands to hold him back, he passes by past my withholding hands. When it gets dark, I lie in bed.
他便伶伶俐俐地从我身上跨过，从我脚边飞走了。等我睁开眼和太阳再见，这算又溜走了一日。我掩面叹息，但是新来的日子的影又开始在叹息里闪过了。
He then stepped over me in a smart way and flew away from my feet. When I opened my eyes and saw the sun again, another day had slipped away. I hid my face and sighed, but the shadow of the new day was gone. The child began to flash through the sigh again.
在逃去如飞的日子里，在千门万户的世界里的我能做什么呢？只有徘徊罢了，只有匆匆罢了。在8000多日的匆匆里，除徘徊外，又剩些什么呢？过去的日子如轻烟。
What can I do in this world of thousands of households in the days when I am escaping like flying away? There is nothing but wandering, nothing but hurrying. In the rush of more than 8,000 days, apart from wandering, what else was left? The past days are like smoke.
被微风吹散了，如薄雾被初阳蒸融了。我留着些什么痕迹呢？我何曾留着像游丝样的痕迹呢？我赤裸裸来到这世界，转眼间也将赤裸裸的回去吧。但不能平的。
It was blown away by the breeze, like mist, evaporated by the early sun. What traces have I left behind? Have I ever left traces like gossamers? I came to this world naked, will I go back naked in a blink of an eye? But it cannot be flat.
为什么偏要白白走这一遭啊？你聪明的告诉我，我们的日子为什么一去不复返呢？课文12，为人民服务。第2-3自然段。人总是要死的，但死的意义有不同。
Why do you have to go through this journey in vain? You smart one, tell me, why are our days gone forever? Text 12, serving the people. Natural paragraph 2-3. People are always going to die, but the meaning of death is different.
中国古时候有个文学家叫做司马迁的说过，人固有一死，或重于泰山，或轻于鸿毛。为人民利益而死，就比泰山还重，替法西斯卖力，替剥削人民和压迫人民的人去死。
In ancient China, there was a writer named Sima Qian who said, everyone is destined to die. It may be heavier than Mount Tai or lighter than a feather. To die for the benefit of the people is heavier than Mount Tai, to work for the fascists, to exploit the people and oppress the people. The people's people die.
就比鸿毛还轻。张思德同志是为人民利益而死的，他的死是比泰山还要重的。因为我们是为人民服务的，所以我们如果有缺点，就不怕别人批评指出。不管是什么人。
It's lighter than a feather. Comrade Zhang Sai died for the interests of the people, and his death was heavier than Mount Tai. Because we serve the people, if we have shortcomings, we are not afraid of criticism from others. No matter who it is.
谁向我们指出都行，只要你说的对，我们就改正；你说的办法对人民有好处，我们就照你的办。精兵简政这一条意见，就是党外人士李鼎铭先生提出来的，他提得好。
Anyone can point it out to us. As long as you are right, we will correct it. The method you suggest is good for the people, so we will do it. The idea of better troops and simpler administration was put forward by Mr. Li Dingming, a non-party person. He put forward it well.
对人民有好处，我们就采用了。只要我们为人民的利坚持好的，为人民的利改正错的，我们这个队伍就一定会兴旺起来。课文14，文言文2则。学艺，一秋。
If it is good for the people, we will adopt it. As long as we stick to what is good and correct what is wrong for the benefit of the people, our team will surely prosper. Text 14, 2 articles in classical Chinese. Learn chess. 一秋。
通国之善议者也。使一秋会二人议，其一人专心致志，为一秋之为听；一人虽听之，一心以为有鸿鹄将至，思源攻角而射之，虽与之俱学，弗若之矣。唯是其志弗若与？曰：非然也。
He is also the best chess player in the country. He asked Yi Qiu to teach 2 people to play chess. One of them concentrated on the game, but Yi Qiu listened. Although the other listened, he thought that a swan was coming, and he wanted to help him and shot it with his bow. Even though I have learned from him, I am not as good as him. Why is he so wise? Said, not so.
两小儿辩日。孔子东游，见两小儿辩斗，问其故。一儿曰：我以日始出时，去人近，而日中时远也。一儿曰：我以日出出远，而日中时近也。一儿曰：日出大如车盖。
2 children debating day. Confucius was traveling east and saw 2 children arguing and asked him why. One son said, I think when the sun begins to rise, people are closer, but when the sun is at midday, people are far away. One son said, I think the sun is far away at the beginning of the day, but it is close at the middle of the day. One son said, when the sun comes out at the beginning of the day, it is as big as the hood of a car.
即日中则如盘盂，此不为远者小而近者大乎？一儿曰：日出苍苍凉凉，及其日中如炭汤，此不为近者热而远者凉乎？孔子不能决也。两小儿笑曰：孰为汝多之乎？
When it reaches the middle of the day, it is like a pan. It is not small if it is far away, but it is large if it is close. One son said, it's cool and sung at the beginning of the day, and it's like exploring the soup in the middle of the day. Isn't it hot for those who are near and cool for those who are far away? Confucius couldn't decide. The 2 children laughed and said, who knows more about you?
古诗词诵读，采薇节选。诗经·小雅。昔我往矣，杨柳依依；今我来思，雨雪霏霏。行道迟迟，载可载机。
Recitation of ancient poems. Kai Wei, excerpt. The Book of Songs, Xiaoya. I have left the past, and the willows are still there. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's raining and snowing. The journey is slow and full of thirst and hunger.
我心伤悲，莫知我哀。宋元20安息。唐·王维。渭城朝雨浥轻尘，客舍青青柳色新。劝君更尽一杯酒，西出阳关无故人。
My heart is sad, but I don't know how sad I am. Send you on air to Anxi. Tang Wang Wei. The morning rain in Weiqing is covered with light dust, and the goose houses are green and willow-colored. I advise you to drink a glass of wine and leave Yangguan in the west without any old friends.
春夜喜雨。唐·杜甫。好雨之时节，当春乃发生。随风潜入夜，润物细无声。野径云俱黑，江船火独明。晓看红湿处。
Happy rainy spring night. Tang Du Fu. Good rain knows the season, and spring will happen. Sneaking into the night with the wind, moistening things silently. The wild paths are all dark with clouds, but the river boats are only bright with fire. Look at the red and wet areas at dawn.
花重锦官城。早春城水不张时，8员外。唐·韩愈。天街小雨润如酥，草色遥看近却无。最是一年春好处，绝胜烟柳满皇都。
The flowers are heavy in Jingguancheng. In early spring, the Ministry of Water Resources presented Zhang to the 18th member of the Ministry of Water. Tang Dynasty Han Yu. The light rain on the sky street is as moist as crisp. The color of grass looks far away but not up close. The most beautiful thing about spring is that it is better than smoke and willows all over the imperial capital.
江上渔者。宋·范仲淹。江上往来人，但爱鲈鱼美。君看一叶舟，出没风波里。泊船瓜洲。 宋·王安石。京口瓜洲一水间。
Fishermen on the river. Song Dynasty Fan Zhongyan. There are many people coming and going on the river, but they love the beautiful sea base. You see, a boat is in and out of the storm. Mooring the boat in Guazhou. Song Dynasty Wang Engshi. Jinko Guazhou Water Room. Fishermen on the river. Song Dynasty Fan Zhongyan. There are many people coming and going on the river, but they love the beautiful sea base. You see, a boat is in and out of the storm. Mooring the boat in Guazhou. Song Dynasty Wang Engshi. Jinko Guazhou Water Room.
中山指隔树重山，春风又绿江南岸，明月何时照我还？游园不值。宋·叶绍翁。应怜鸡翅因苍苔，小扣柴扉久不开。
Zhongshan is only separated by several mountains. The spring breeze is green again on the south bank of the river. When will the bright moon shine on me again? Zhongshan is only separated by several mountains. The spring breeze is green again on the south bank of the river. When will the bright moon shine on me again? A visit to the park is not worth it. Song Dynasty Yishaoweng. You should take pity on the green moss on the teeth of your clogs, and the door of the small buckle firewood will not open for a long time.
春色满园关不住，一枝红杏出墙来。卜算子·送报浩然之浙东。宋·王观。水是眼波横，山是眉峰聚。欲问行人去那边。
The garden is full of spring scenery, and a branch of red apricot comes out of the wall. Buswanzi sent Baohaoran to the east of Zhejiang. Song Dynasty Wangguan. The water is like the waves in your eyes, and the mountains are like the gathering of eyebrows and peaks. I would like to ask pedestrians where to go.
眉眼盈盈处，才使送春归，又送君归去。若到江南赶上春，千万和春住。浣溪沙。宋·苏轼。游蕲水清泉寺，寺临兰溪。
The brows and eyes are full of beauty. Only then did I send spring back, and then sent you back. If you go to the south of the Yangtze River to catch spring, you will live with it. Huanqi Sha. Song Dynasty Su Shi. Visit Qishui Qingshuan Temple, which is adjacent to Lanxi River.
溪水溪流。山下兰崖短尽溪，松间沙路净无泥。潇潇木鱼子规啼。谁道人生无再少？门前流水尚能西。休将白发唱黄鸡。
The stream flows westward. At the foot of the mountain, the orchid buds are soaked in the stream, the sandy road among the pines is clean and mudless, and the raindrops are crying at dusk. Who said there is no less in life? The water flowing in front of the door can still flow to the west. Stop singing Yellow Chicken with White Hair.
清平乐。宋·黄庭坚。春归何处？寂寞无行路。若有人知春去处，唤取归来同住。春无踪迹谁知？除非问取黄鹂。
Kingpingo. Song Dynasty Huang Tingjian. Where does spring return? Loneliness leads nowhere. If anyone knows where Chun is going, he can call her back to live with her. Who knows if there is no trace of spring? Unless you ask for Oriole.
百转无人能解，阴风飞过蔷薇。语文园第一，日积月累。长歌行。汉乐府。青青园中葵，朝露待日晞。阳春不得泽。
No one can understand 100 warblings, because the wind flies over the roses. Chinese Garden 1. Accumulation over time. Changeexing. Han Yuefu. There are sunflowers in the green garden, and the morning dew awaits the setting sun. Yang Chun Bidis.
万物生光辉。常恐秋节至，昆黄花叶衰。百川东到海，何时复西归？少壮不努力，老大徒伤悲。语文园第二，日积月累。
All things are radiant. I am often afraid that when the autumn festival comes, the yellow flowers and leaves will wither. From the east to the sea, when will the rivers return to the west? All things are radiant. I am often afraid that when the autumn festival comes, the yellow flowers and leaves will wither. From the east to the sea, when will the rivers return to the west? If a young man does not work hard, the old man will be miserable. Chinese Garden 2, Accumulation over time.
读书须用意，一字值千金。莫道君行早，更有早行人。听君一席话，胜读10年书。路遥知马力，日久见人心。
Reading must be done with intention. A word is worth 1,000 pieces of gold. Mo Daojun leaves early, and there are even more early travelers. Listening to your words is worth 10 years of reading. Horsepower can be seen in the distance, and people's hearts can be seen in time.
近水知鱼性，近山识鸟音。语文园第四，日积月累。有意栽花花不发，无心插柳柳成荫。良药苦口利于病。
When you are near water, you know the nature of fish. When you are near mountains, you know the sounds of birds. Chinese Garden 4. Overtime dash. Planting flowers intentionally will not bloom, but unintentionally planting willows will create shade. Good medicine tastes bitter and is beneficial to disease.
忠言逆耳利于行，树欲静而风不止，子欲养而亲不待。长将有日思无日，莫把无时当有时。书到用时方恨少。
Loyalty is helpful to one's actions. The tree wants to be quiet, but the wind does not stop. The child wants to be nurtured, but cannot be kissed. There will always be days when there will be no days, and don't think of the days when there will be no days. When the book is used, I will regret it less.
是非经过不知难。语文园第5，日积月累。穷则变，变则通，通则久。周易，苟日新，日日新，又日新。笔记，请。
You don't know how difficult things are until they have happened. Chinese Garden 5. Overtime dash. If it is poor, it will change. If it changes, it will be general. And if it is general, it will last. Book of Changes. You don't know how difficult things are until they have happened. Chinese Garden 5. Overtime dash. If it is poor, it will change. If it changes, it will be general. And if it is general, it will last. Book of Changes. It is new every day, and it is new every day. Book of Rights. Green.
取之于蓝而轻于蓝。荀子。苟利于民，不必伐古；苟周于世，不必循旧。淮南子。来源网络，版权归原作者所有。
Take it from blue and become green from blue. Xuanzi. If you want to benefit the people, you don't have to follow the ancient times.